Let's go over how to create and use a best fit regression equation on your TI calculator. First off, you will need to have two lists of data, your explanatory and response. For this example, I'm going to be using L3 and L4. The things to do. Just for practice, I'm going to first set up a scatter plot of L3 and L4. So turn this plot on. L3, L4, just checking to see if a linear model is appropriate. A zoom 9. Yeah, linear model looks appropriate. So we can run a regression here. To do that, into my stat, calculate, and there's two linear regressions, number 4 and number 8. They're the same thing. The only difference is what A and B represent, so just keep track in your mind. I'm going to use number 4. For my X list, L3. For my Y list, L4. Now, if I want to use the regression equation, it's easiest to store it right now. So I'm going to go down 2 lines here to the store regression equation. And here, I must tell the calculator where to put that regression equation. I want to store it in Y1. To do that, go into your variables menu, vars, go over to yvars, choose function, which is number 1, and then choose Y1. Then do calculate. So not only is it going to say, okay, the slope of your regression equation is about 11.9. The y-intercept of your regression equation is about negative 1.3. It gives you your r² and your r. If you now press your y equals button, it has stored that regression equation for you in Y1 so that you don't have to type the whole thing. That is incredibly handy. Press your graph button, and you can see that regression equation go through your scatter plot, and yeah, things look pretty good. Now that you've got it, how do you then use it? What if I want to know the predicted value for a certain input? You've got two choices. The first is to do a trace. This isn't bad just to kind of get a general sense. Now, when you press trace, it's going to start by going to the scatter plot. Press the up arrow. It's going to move you to the regression equation. You can now move left and right along that regression line. You can even type in a particular number. So for x equals 3, the predicted y value is 34.395. So right about 34.4. You can then press in a different value as well. So at 5, the predicted value is 58.2. Do make sure that you're looking at the top here. If you want to be on the regression line, it does need to say y1 equals at the top. If it doesn't, that means you're probably on the scatter plot. You can just press your up or down arrow to switch to the other equation. That's one way to do it. Here's another. I personally like this one. Back in my home screen, I can go back into the variables menu, over to y variables, choose number 1, the function, y1, and after this, in parentheses, I can put any x value I want, and it's going to give me the y value that goes with it. So the calculator knows my regression equation is y1. It knows the number in parentheses is the x, and it's giving me the predicted y that goes with it. Press second enter. I can then bring it back and change to a different number. Second enter again, I can bring it back, and I can, choose a different, I already did 2. How about 4.2? So when x is 4.2, the predicted y is 48.667. So there you go. That's how you store your regression equation, and it will stay in Y1 until you either clear it out or run a new regression and store a different equation in there. And if it's stored, you can use that variables, over to y variables, function, and then number 1 to find the predicted y for any x you like.